David Menzies' muse so frequently has been Sneaky Patrick Brown. And there's
Indeed.
news about Sneaky Patrick Brown.
Well, there's the CBC story. Apparently, agents of the Indian government interfered in Patrick Brown's conservative leadership campaigns, according to several sources. By the way, Sheila, I have my source on this. Before the live stream, that person gave me a call. And just to let you know about this source, he's not golden, folks. He is platinum. He's not 99% right about Patrick Brown. He is 100% right. He's the one that tipped us off the where, when, how. Remember when Sneaky Patrick Brown shut down all the recreational facilities of Brampton? But except for one, the Earnscliffe hockey rink, where he entertained his Barrie buddies, breaking the COVID bylaws. This is also the source that told us about the secret campaign headquarters during that conservative leadership race that Brown established, not even in Brampton, but a city down the highway, Vaughan, Ontario. And we exposed that. And I'm going to take credit. That led to the beginning of the end of Patrick Brown's leadership campaign. He was ousted by the party. Thank God. In any event, we now have this Indian interference. He's looking into it for me, Sheila. I'm not sure what to think, because another thing this source told me, Sheila, and this tells you all you need to know about how Patrick Brown gets elected in probably the single most diverse municipality in all of Canada. And he goes out and he has these meetings with the Tamils and the Khalistani Sikhs and the Hindus and the Muslims, and what the allegations are. And by the way, I always try to reach out to Patrick Brown. He won't return my calls. In fact, he blocks me on X, which is not allowed because it's his official government account. But nevertheless, basically, if you can imagine what my source tells me about how he curries favor with all of these groups, is they say, look at this munja cake white man. You know, he's just like us. He's just like how we do business back home. You know, stuff under the table, paper bags of money, etc. That's the allegation. And that's how he wins all these diverse camps over. So I'm not sure where the Indian government comes in. It might be, Sheila, the Khalistani angle. There are probably more Khalistanis in Brampton, Ontario than there are in India right now. Maybe that's what's driving this. What are your thoughts?
I'm slightly skeptical, and I'm willing to wait for all of the details to come out. So, because I probably paid as close attention to the Foreign Interference Commission as anybody in this country, I should tell you that Patrick Brown was disqualified from the Conservative Party leadership race after membership irregularities. Tons of memberships were being, and this is something the Conservative Party does, I should backtrack, to protect the integrity of their internal elections. You have to have some skin in the game. You have to buy a membership. If you're a Liberal, you just get one. You can just say you want one, and then you can just get bussed in by the CCP to vote for hand-on, as it turns out. Well, in Canada, with the Conservative Party, you have to have some skin in the game, and they have to be able to prove that that money was yours. So preferably credit card or a bank card. But what was happening in Patrick Brown's leadership was that they were using money orders to purchase memberships, which is an absolute no-no. And it sounds like a lot of the money was coming from one place. And the Conservatives disqualified him and then told election integrity officials on Patrick Brown. So it's not like the Conservatives have ever tried to hide any of this. I think they have, unlike the Liberals, who do try to hide these things, they aired their dirty laundry because sunlight is the best disinfectant. Now they're saying that maybe it was Indian agents who were behind that. But that doesn't, I'm not sure if that's the case. Because I think, according to these reports, they're saying that Indian officials were pressuring Michelle Rempel Garner, who was the co-chair of his campaign, who I'm sure regrets it now, to remove her support from Patrick Brown. Now, I think she removed her support after the membership irregularities came out and not because of pressure from the Indian government. That's what I think, just on my examination of the evidence. And here's why. Because the Liberals and the mainstream media seem to think that India is very capable of controlling Canadian politics, but they don't think that China is a really big deal. And there's been a lot of misinformation about India. And look, I sound like I'm a lawyer for big India right now. I realize that, but that's not what I'm doing here. I'm just saying that a lot of the things that were previously reported as truth have turned out to be wrong. Remember when they said that, and the Liberals came out and said it, and they expelled diplomats, and Trudeau said that Prime Minister Modi was linked to criminal activity happening in Canada, including extrajudicial murders. Well, as it turns out, a senior official from CISA said there's absolutely zero evidence. They're not aware of any evidence linking the Indian Prime Minister Modi to alleged criminal activity perpetrated by Indian agents on Canadian soil. So I'm just sitting here waiting for all the evidence to come out. There's a lot of, in this article, sources said this, sources who won't go on the record said this. And I'm like, I'm not sure, because when CBC says sources who won't come on the record, it could be anybody. And we should note Michelle Rempel categorically denies all of this. So I await Patrick Brown's testimony at the Security Committee.
Oh, yeah, and he'll be honest as always, Sheila, I'm sure. I got to tell you, Sheila, I mean, if half the allegations I've heard about sneaky Patrick Brown turn out to be true, forget about being mayor of Brampton. He's going to be in jail. Maybe that medium security facility where Paul Bernardo is, it has a hockey rink, so he can still play hockey. I know he loves to do that. But by the way, speaking of Michelle Rempel Garner, you have a personal connection to her. What in blue hell was she thinking getting into that rat nest called the Patrick Brown campaign?
I have no idea. I don't know. I wish I could tell you. If I had to guess, I'm sure she very much regrets it now. And I cannot wait for the evidence to come out, because what I do know is the Conservative Party has no problem putting Patrick Brown's dirty laundry on blast. So yes. Unlike the Liberals, who, I mean, what did Justin Trudeau testify to? If we found somebody who had problems with foreign interference in their campaigns, what we would say to them was, why don't you just withdraw from whatever campaign you're running for and tell them that you want to spend more time with family, and then we'll just sort of sweep it under the rug. He said that that's what the Liberal Party does. The Conservative Party of Canada takes a much different approach. If you engage in campaign irregularities, we're going to tell on you ourselves. So I guess that's good news.
And you know, Sheila, I can't wait to hear what comes out of that. I can't wait to hear what my source says after his meetings later today. And you know, I'm a real big believer in karma, Sheila. I really am. I mean, right now, Patrick Brown is flying high. Well, if you can call the mayor of Brampton flying high. He was the man moments away from being premier, slam dunk. So it's kind of like that scene in Glengarry Glen Ross, you know, first prize, a Cadillac Eldorado, second prize, a set of steak knives. Well, yeah, that's what he won, a set of steak knives. He has no connection to Brampton. In fact, when he was first campaigning, he often in his speeches, he called Brampton Barrie, where he actually has lived. Well, we're going to go to third prize pretty soon, I think, which is you're fired. And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.